This is Courage Barbell. I'm your host, Chad Ikes. Today I'm coming at you with another few exercises or ways to do exercises. I like to call them chaos exercises. Some guys call it chaos training. Who knows? Like I always say, there's so many different names. Every exercise has multiple names for it. Chaos exercises is my name. This is a very simple thing to do. There's a lot of ways to do it. The upper end if you have a lot of money, the lower end if you don't have as much money. But everybody can do some form of this kind of training. And I'm going to go over it in the form of a bench press because I'm lazy and I already have it all right here. And then I'll kind of go into explaining of how you can do it in other exercises and where I like to throw it into your training. Basically, a chaos exercise for me is just taking a way of throwing a whole new twist on an exercise you regularly do, basing it mostly on dropping the weight, making the exercise harder, and really focusing on having to stay stable, having to use the correct muscles, and having to really focus on the technique of the movement, because if you don't, it gets even crazier. So my main way of doing that for me, because I don't have a bamboo bar, which if you guys have the money, like go to Elite FTS, order a bamboo bar. It adds another level of difficulty to doing this type of training, but you don't feel like you have to have it. You know, if you don't have all that stuff, Courage Barbell is my garage. But there's been some serious weight lifted in here, and there's been some serious strength gains happening here. You don't need everything to gain strength. There's always ways to adapt and do other things, which, yes, I trained in a big gym for a long time, but my heritage is in my basement with the equipment my family could afford at the time, and we were just middle class. I couldn't just buy everything I wanted. And I enjoyed that, being able to, or having to use my brain to figure out other ways to get stuff done, to figure out other ways to train my muscles like I wanted to train. So if you don't have a bamboo bar, you can use your regular bar. I've actually seen guys make these out of some PVC and stuff, and I've never actually tried that. It sounds like something I will do in the future just because I'm curious. So it seems like that could work. Generally what I do is I use bands and plates. A lot of guys use kettlebells. Well, kettlebells are expensive. I don't have a lot of kettlebells. So I just loop a band through a plate just like this, put it on the bar. If you don't have bands, use chains. If you don't have chains, use ropes. Like there's something you can afford to make this happen. And as you step down, you know, with the bands, you're going to see this plate is going to move and bounce, and it's going to move around a lot more than it would with a chain or with a rope. But that doesn't mean the chain or the rope can't actually still give you something out of the exercise and still make it a difficult exercise and to get what you're looking to get out of the exercise. It's just different levels of how intense you want it to be. The one thing I do, if you do use bands, kind of pay attention. A lighter band with a bigger plate is going to stretch even more. And during the exercise, you don't want the plates hitting the ground. So just keep in mind that hey, if it's stretching too far, get a little tougher band where it doesn't bounce quite as much, but it allows you to do the movement without the plates actually hitting the ground. And on here, I just have a couple plates. Normally, I would do more weight, but as I've said many times, I'm pretty lazy. I think the point comes across here, and it doesn't involve me moving a lot more shit. So I can save energy for when I do train later today. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You want to set it up where the weights won't be clinging on your, clanking against your equipment, and where it's not going to be hitting the ground or hitting anything. You don't want it hitting stuff while you're in the movement because it's not good for your equipment and it just messes everything up. So really the chaos method is just trying to rig up a way to make this bar want to move more in your hands. The idea of that, the more this bar wants to move, the more you got to get tight, the more you got to use your stabilizers, your smaller stabilizer muscles, and the more you got to really think about your groove and hitting in that right position. So I'll show you right here. I'm just going to lay down and do a couple of reps. So you got to be, everything has to be very, with a lot of intensity, a lot of intent. You can't just grab the bar and move it around, because the more you do, this bar is going to end up going crazy on you. So you want to move everything with intent, get into your positions. So it's really going to make this movement about control. It's going to make you want to stay tighter, to use those stabilizers, to really go, to hit that correct groove and that correct technique. And it's kind of surprising how taxing a much lighter weight can be when you're doing this. And you can actually do this with just about any exercise. I like to bench press with it. I like to do JM presses with it. We squat with it. We'll do good mornings with it. I mean, even a short range of motion good morning when you're coming down here, but now all of a sudden this weight's swinging this way and this way will add a tremendous challenge in your core, and having to keep all this really stabilized, really, really tight. So it's going to help on your root. It's going to help with your core. It's just going to help with that technique of learning to sit back and stay tight and stay stable. So that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you don't have the money for the bamboo bar and the bands and the kettlebells, there's plenty of other ways to go about this. Like, be creative, use your mind. The body does what the mind tells it to do. So you can have the strongest body in the world, but if your mind's not strong, it does no good. So use your mind in all kinds of ways. Strengthen your mind. Go, hey, I like what Chad's showing, but I don't have that. So you know what? Oh, I can get a thing of rope from Home Depot for like $4. Maybe I get some rope and we tie it up and just use the plates that I have. Be creative, man. Like, strength training is fun. It's a blast. I love it. It's part of my life. But part of that fun for me is being creative and coming up with new stuff and new ideas, and not being afraid, having confidence in myself to trust myself and trust the things that I come up with. And so what? Some of the stuff doesn't work. Big damn deal. Move on. Find something else that works. So now with this, you squat. It's all the same. It's setting it up really is the same. When I squat, it's a longer range of motion. So I may hook up 45s. Use a gray band instead of an orange band. It doesn't even matter. Like, mix it up as much as you can. How I incorporate these into my training. I really like these on deload weeks. And remember, a deload is not an unload. Those are two different things. I like it on a deload week because I can get my guys come in here and we can just do like 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 15 with a much lighter weight than they're used to, hence the deload. A lighter load, and really work on their stabilization and work on their technique, and they're going to get a bunch of blood pumping, they're going to get their muscles moving, but we're really not taxing their body or their central nervous system that bad because the weight isn't that heavy. So I really like it on deload weeks. And say for a deload on bench day, we might come in here, do our warm-up, do 3 sets of 15 with the bench. Then we'll do some JMs, 3 sets of 12 to 15, somewhere in that area. And, then maybe even do some flies. Same thing, hook up the deal with the bands, some tricep extensions. We'll just go through the whole session doing various different chaos method stuff. So we're keeping all the weight light, but we're still in here, we're still working, we're still pumping blood, keeping the body moving without all that being taxing on the body. Go into the next week, bam, we're ready to go heavy again. I also like these on recovery days, which, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of recovery days. Because again, we can come in here and work the muscles and work the movement and work technique, but we're not really taxing the body that bad. And you're like, man, I feel like I worked, but I'm not like completely exhausted or torn up, which is what we want. That's recovery days are about coming in, moving, pumping blood, but still working on our technique, still working on our smaller stabilizing muscles. And on those days, like with the deloads, I'll do anywhere from 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15. On the recovery days, I'll kick that up to more like sets of 20, maybe even sets of 30. My recovery days, there's very, 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 very many ways to do recovery days. So that's one of the main things. I will throw these in sometimes during our regular session. Like if we come in and we say on the bench, if we bench heavy, we do a max effort 3 board. Then I go, okay, we're going to do narrow grip 4 boards to hammer those triceps. Okay, let's finish with suspended our chaos JM presses to drop the weight down in that last set, but really hit those muscles hard because you're stabilizing so hard. And on those days, it'll just be a general 3 sets of 8 to 10, general strength training, supplemental type stuff. So I think that pretty much covers it. It's not, this is not some rocket scientist, oh, chaos training or chaos exercises, you got to do this, 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 and this. Look at it from the big picture. The idea is to go, hey, I want it to be chaotic. I want to take a movement where I can normally go bam, 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 and make it where I really have to tighten up and I really have to stabilize against this now movement that I'm not used to. And it's even like you probably, if you follow my Instagram, you see me do push-ups on the rings, which I really like. That's another kind of chaos method because now I'm not on the floor. My hands are here and can move all over the place. So I have to really stabilize and really focus on my movement. And that's it. That's chaos exercises. I'm leaving it open to you guys to be creative, come up with new ways to use it. You come up with some new way or you post some, like tag me in the Instagram. I'll like put it in my story so hopefully everybody else can go, hey, oh, this guy did this. It's cool. Let's try it. And so please like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the channel, help me get more subscribers, more followers so I can get out more information. Hopefully get to where I can make a little more money doing this so that I can spend more time getting these videos out and getting more information out to you guys. Also, couragebarbell.com, courageathletics.com, alwayscourage.com, soon chadanddoug.com, which chadanddoug.com is kind of one of my offshoots because my whole life isn't just lifting. There's a lot of other stuff I want to do. This shirt right here is a shirt we just created for chadanddoug.com. It's just the other stuff in life that I see and deal with, and I want to help people to get a laugh every now and then. I want to help them to think more. I want to help them to look at the world in the way that I look at strength training. Always asking questions, always talking about my opinions and getting other opinions and different perspectives and like taking in as much information as I can before I make decisions about stuff. And this for me is one of those shirts that actually means a lot right now. This is probably my favorite shirt. Never understood racism. I don't get it. I don't know why we can't just move on past this. So this was kind of my way of in a simple statement going, hey, F that. Like, F it. I don't see any reason for it. Don't like it. Don't want to know nothing about it. Like, let's just get over it, man. People are people. Why can't we see that? Good people are good people. Bad people are bad people. That's all we really need to know. Are you a good person or a bad person? That's all I need to know. So anyway, check out the store. Buy some Courage Barbell. I'm hoping to have these pants up pretty soon. I'm still tweaking some stuff about them, but we should have them up soon. We got hats. We got shirts. Working on the water bottles. I have some, but I'm still dealing with shipping because shipping's crazy right now. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Give this chaos exercises a try. Like, just throw it in on a deload week. Throw it in on a recovery. And just see. Just test it out. You're going to like it. You're probably going to feel stupid at first because you're going to be like, holy shit, that's hard. But I guarantee if you keep doing it, it's going to help show results in your strength, in your overall strength, and in your 1 rep max numbers. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Like I said, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and all that shit. I'm out.